Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to our first anniversary of our podcast. I'm Jenny.
And I'm Dawn.
And we, of course, are very excited for you to be here.
Excited. That's the only word we know.
That is. We work at a library. It's been a year and we've not learned anything other than excitement. But we are excited because this is our first year anniversary of Beyond the Shelf. People said we wouldn't make it that long. That's not true. People have been very encouraging, but it is pretty exciting because I can't believe a whole year's gone by. And we've covered all kinds of things. And we still are very grateful to the people that allow us to do this and to our listeners who put up with us every month for whatever reason. Other than that, we are obviously hilarious.
I'm sure it's very exciting to listen to.
It is. I'm sure every month they are anticipating what we might come up with. Oh, I know Dawn has some exciting stats for us to share of what we have covered this past year. So, Dawn, go ahead.
Well, I thought it'd be interesting, if nothing else, to look back on. So we've done 14 episodes, even though a year typically has 12 months, usually. But we've had a couple of special episodes, and when we did the local authors, we split that into 2 episodes. So
we're overachievers.
14. We're just like a little bit overachievers. Yeah. It's like 110%.
Well, we don't want people to have too high of expectations. Come on.
Sure. So I actually went back and counted, and we did math, which is not our forte, to figure out how many guests that we had in the past year. If we include all of the staff interviews from this episode, we'll have 56 guests.
I find that very impressive, personally. I think that is pretty awesome. So that is like almost 5 guests an episode, right? Because 5 times 12 is 60, except we did 14. Never mind. Here I go again. Math.
No, you did it better than when you thought that Tom Hanks was old.
Oh, yeah, let's bring that up again.
50 years ago. That's a really good number. And I think when we started, we had this anticipation, this hope that maybe we'd get a few people and have some interviews and get to chat with people, but we ended up talking to 56 people. So that's pretty great.
And I think some of the most exciting thing was that we actually got to talk to like a New York Times best-selling author, Natalie Richards. She was amazing and so much fun to interview.
Right. And then talking to Mindy as well. Mindy McGinnis was cool. I think when we started this, I didn't anticipate we were going to be talking to like these like New York Times best-selling authors, like people who've written lots of books like that, who've been, well-published and well-read and everything. I thought, we'll talk to like the director and maybe like the mayor or somebody, which we haven't done. But just about every person that we have asked to be a part of this has been so gracious and willing. And
yeah,
it's awesome.
They have. And they've been very kind and understanding and appreciative of your editing abilities, for sure.
I try. Do you have any particular favorite moments or favorite things that we've done?
You mean other than the Tom Hanks flub that will always I'll have to put that on my tombstone or something. She died at 90, but she only thought she was 80 or something like that. I think when I reflected on the past 14 episodes, I think some of my favorite ones that we covered were the fandoms. I thought that was fun. I thought it was fun that you and I realized that we shared a common television program that we had no idea that we both liked. I liked our Christmas episode a lot. That was fun. And then I really enjoyed doing the adaptations. And I feel like we could do all 3 of those. We could go on and on with all kinds of other things too. So if we ever run out of fresh ideas, we can recycle those and still have a whole bunch of new ideas.
If you have any new ideas for us,
yes,
we'll take them.
This is a good time to mention, though, we are doing a giveaway.
Yes.
For the month of September.
In celebration of the first anniversary of Beyond the Shelf, we're doing a giveaway. So I'm excited about our prize for the giveaway is exclusive Beyond the Shelf mugs that will have our logo on it. In order to be entered to win one of these, we have a little trivia for you, though.
Yes. So you will have had to at least vaguely listen to most of our podcasts to be able to answer them. I think it's just 10 questions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought they were easy, but, we came up with them. So it's a lot easier when you're coming up with the questions to have the answers. But all of the answers can be found in a podcast.
Episode.
Or throughout the podcast,
yes.
Not a single podcast.
Right. Trivia sheets will be available at the information desk.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody who wants to try to complete one, there's a question. And at the end of the question is the name of the episode that the answer is in.
Made it even easier.
Yes. So if you are, a loyal listener, you might be able to answer that trivia question without listening to the episode. Or you can go back, listen to the episode, find the answer. And everybody who turns in one of the trivia sheets will get a little pinback button with our logo on it. So you can share.
Everyone's a winner.
Everyone's a winner.
Yes.
Exactly.
What we should do is we should do like a reaction video of us listening to our first podcast.
Going back to that very first
one. Oh man,
right.
Can't believe that they allowed us to go on.
And I remember finishing that and going, well, what? We did that?
Yep, here we go.
All right.
So about you, Dawn, what has been some of your favorite moments from the past year?
Well, literally we just got to talk to so many different people.
Mm-hmm.
So many people, like the artists, and talking to them about their artwork. I think I learned more in that afternoon than I had at any other point in school about different kinds of art and how that works. And the authors who are all so passionate about their books.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about listening to a podcast is you can't always get the enthusiasm that people have. When we get to talk to them face to face, we get to see that.
Well, we'd be remiss in not mentioning Tim Hiller because we got to do the interview with him. He phoned it in, so to speak, from Michigan, but he's an Orville alum, and he wrote a great book, and he did a great interview as well. That was fun.
And some of the people that we talked to, we got done, and you and I were both like, well, they were so professional, and we felt like the dummies.
Yeah, well. So I'm not sure if I can mention this or not, but I wanted to mention one of our local authors that we got to interview, Dan Arman, passed away just a month or two after. It wasn't that long.
It wasn't that long after the local author festival, yeah.
And he and his wife, Mary, have been, they've come to our local author event, and he was just a fantastic guy. And we were really sad to hear of his passing, but I think I can say this for both of us, how appreciative we were that we got to take that time and talk to him that day. And that was really special. And that was something that if we hadn't done this podcast, we may have talked to him briefly at his table, but to actually be able to sit down and talk to him was really special. And
so in this episode, we're also, as I had mentioned, we took a few minutes out of everybody's working day when we could snag them and interviewed almost all of the staff, a good number of people who work here at Orville Library. We talked to them while they were working, so there's like beeps and phone ringing and distant conversation in the background there.
And I would say the majority of them were very kind and did it, but they all hated it viscerally.
The thing about the staff here is we all enjoy like helping people and talking about, what we're reading or what we're doing at the library, but nobody wants to be the star. Nobody wants to be like singled out. And
except you and I, apparently.
Apparently just us.
Just us.
So to get them to, chat a little bit about themselves and stuff is a little nerve-wracking. And the microphone can be intimidating if you don't know.
Yeah, but they all did great.
So as you listen to the interviews, just be nice to our coworkers.
They actually, I thought, all did very well. Once they got going and they realized that we weren't going to be asking them like trigonometry questions or just deep philosophical, that it was just you and me talking to them, and they did fantastic.
Right. We have a really great crew here, a really good group of people. Everybody loves working here, so.
Okay, I'm talking to Miss Lisa. Lisa has been at the library for how many years?
I will be 17 years in December.
That
December 6th.
is amazing. So what brought you to the library world?
I was done being a stay-at-home mom. Both of my babies were in school, so I decided that when availability came up in Orville Public Library, I did apply.
Oh, great. So did you bring your kids to the library before that, and you were just big patrons?
Story time.
Oh, great. Did they have Miss Sherry? Was she their storytime person?
Yes. Tom's favorite storytime librarian was Mrs. Happy Bees,
Oh,
Barb
okay.
Miller.
Yep.
And Emily enjoyed Miss
that's
Sherry.
great. Yeah, Miss Sherry. Yes, I think a lot of Wayne County people enjoyed both of those ladies. Okay, so can you tell us a little bit about your duties here at the library?
I am circulation manager, which includes both the circ staff, where you check materials out, as well as the pages. Recently, I got an assistant manager, Denise, who is going to take over the pages. I'm very excited for that. So I will just have the circulation.
All right. Well, she does an excellent job. And I'm not just saying that because she's my immediate supervisor or anything at all. It's the truth. All right, Lisa, is there anything else that you want to let us know? Deep rooted inside of you that you feel like you need to let us know?
Oh, no, I just love the library, and I love my patrons.
Good. And they love you, too. Everybody always asks about Lisa, or they ask about the lady with the beautiful hair. And we always know they're talking about you. All right. Thank you, Lisa.
Sure.
I am here with Denise, who has been at the library for
12 and a half years.
12 and a half years now. So next year will be lucky number 13.
Yep.
Awesome. You've worked in a couple different positions here. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I started out as a page. I worked there for 2 years. Then I went over to the circulation, and I've been there for 10 and a half now. Love my job. Would have started here sooner if I'd have known I could have a job like 12 hours a week as a mom. That would have been great. My husband could have watched the kids, but didn't know that was an option.
A circulation, I think, is such a cool job because you get to like actually interact with so many people who come into the library.
Yep. You got the drive-through, people inside, telephones, delivery people.
So there are people like when you see them walk in, you know who they are,
Yeah,
if they have
just
something.
grab their stuff off the shelf, and they enjoy that too. We had somebody who brought their granddaughter to the window, and she said, "See, they know who I am. They get my stuff when I don't even have to talk to them." And they think that's impressive. When you see them 3 times a week, it's not that hard.
Right. And you get to like make connections with people.
Yeah, see them with kids, or connect over an author. There's people I didn't know their names, but then they were reading one of my favorite authors, and so we got to talking about the books.
So are there any good books you've been reading recently or bad books that we should all stay away from?
I'm just started the new Iris Johansson, The Survivors. I just started that one today. It's like the number 30 in the Eve Duncan series, the forensic scientist. So.
Do you like to read a lot of like Iris Johansson or authors that put out a lot of books like that, or?
Yeah, my favorite author of all is Robin Carr, who did the Virgin River series. And it's so sad because I'm just like waiting for her to put a book out like once every 3 years or something now because there's nothing else to read. So
Nothing else in her series.
yeah, I mean, I've got a couple old historical ones maybe that I've read like one of those. But it's taken me like 4 weeks to read my book. I pretty much only read my lunch each day. I listen to a lot of audiobooks because I like to walk and work on puzzles and listen to audiobooks. So that's where I get most of my reading done.
Thank you so much for letting us talk to you.
All right.
All right, we have with us now Joan. Joan, how long have you been here?
I've been with the library for about 13 and a half years.
All right. And so you retired 13 years ago or 14 years ago?
Yes.
And 13 and a half years ago, you said?
13 and a half years ago, I came to the library.
Well, we do appreciate all your knowledge. We've all come to you in the circ department and said, what do we do about this? And you always know what to do.
Not always. A
Well,
lot of times I guess.
You fake it really well. And as I said, Joan is our circ department. That's her. That's all you need to know.
The face of it. No.
Yes, no, she is in the circ department.
So being that you've been here for as long as you have and working in circulation, you get to see a lot of patrons who come in and you get to know people like by face and name.
Yes. I try and remember people's names. And there are some library cards that I have been able to remember. I think I know maybe 4 or 5 library card numbers.
Wow.
For sure.
If I know how to spell their last name, I'm pretty happy
Yeah,
about that.
yeah. But most of the time I try and remember people's names.
Mm-hmm.
So, Joan, one thing that we always ask everybody, do you have a favorite book genre, or what are you currently reading that you are enjoying?
My favorite author is Linda Costello.
Okay.
She's got some Amish murder mysteries.
The Kate Burkholder
The Kate Burkholder series. And if you're from Wayne County or Holmes County, she brings in all the aspects of those two counties, and you feel like you're right there.
I think one thing that we need to really emphasize, this is not your typical Amish book. This is not an Amish love story. This is not a feel-good, gonna just read this and go to sleep story.
But the fact that she brings in a lot of the places in Wayne County and Holmes County, you feel like you're reading a newspaper or something.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know.
Cool.
Okay, well, thank you, Joan. We
Yes.
appreciate your 13 and a half years of service. And
And the next 4 we
next-
appreciate already.
at least 4.
At least 4.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
We'll hold you to that, friend.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, so I'm now talking to Miss Carlita, and Carlita has been here for just a couple months. How long is it now?
So I think I started January 12th of 2023.
Okay.
So just a few months.
Just a little bit. So what is that, like 6 months now?
I think so.
Just about.
Just
Very
about
good.
6 months.
So what have you enjoyed, let's go with enjoyed. What have you enjoyed about working here?
Okay, so I love the family environment, right? The people who come in are patrons. Almost, they come in regularly. So you start to get to know them, and they almost come in to see you, which I think is so cute. And then it's funny too, if one of our patrons who we normally see on a regular basis, if they're not here, you actually start to miss, where's so-and-so? Are they okay? Are they sick? So yeah, I like the whole idea of we're a family, kind of look out for each other. Yeah.
The community is
Yeah.
really strong here.
Yeah.
Definitely,
Yeah, I like that about it.
Great.
And I love my coworkers. I really do. You guys are such a great bunch. And everybody has, little different personalities, but we all kind of mesh well. So, yeah.
So I'm actually currently reading a book that you recommended,
Yes.
A Peace of Mind by J. California Cooper. And it's such a neat way of writing because it's just a bunch of short stories. They're all 6 pages or something long. There's a little moral to each
Yeah.
one as you go.
Yes.
And the writing style that she chooses is different. It's very just regular.
Yes.
speaking.
Yes.
It's so cool.
Yes. It's so relatable in so many ways. She's just such a great, she was, but her books are just awesome. I started with the short story that I recommended to you, A Peace of Mind, which my cousin actually gave to me. And I have been hooked on J. California Cooper ever since. Her stories are always, just like I said, very relatable. There's always a lesson in it. It's easy to read. Even her novels that she's written, those are really easy to read too. It's she's just a great author.
Awesome. No, you're good. Well, thank you so much for chatting with us.
Yes, I'm glad that we're doing our little interview.
This is Amy. Miss Amy works for us just a couple nights a week here at the library. How long have you worked here?
I've worked here for 6 years.
All right. That's
Yeah.
like
A magic number.
a magic
Is it?
number. I've been here for just over 6, so as Sam. So, yeah.
Amy is in the circ department,
Yes.
and she is invaluable. We love Amy. She's always one of my favorite. I can't say my absolute favorite, but she's really my absolute favorite to work with, and I never get to work with her. So I'm excited at least to interview you for a moment.
Well, thank you very much. We're always opposite shifts.
I know.
Two ships that pass
The world might implode if we if we work together too much. So Amy, I know you work full time, and then you still dedicate a couple hours every week to come into the library. So what made you decide to join the library?
Well, I thought it would always be something that wanted to do. And then when I was looking for a job, there was an opening here, and I interviewed for it. Well, I didn't get that one, but then a few months later, they called and said, we have a part-time opening. Would you be interested? And at that point, it worked really, really well with the new schedule that I had at the other job. So it's been like that ever since.
Oh, great. Well, like I said, we're really glad you're here. We wish you could be here more frequently, but do you think maybe when you retire from your other job that you would
Oh, I have no idea.
get more hours at the library? Or do you think
No
you would
pressure.
retire from here too?
If I retire, I probably will retire, but
In the true
but I
sense
don't-
of the word.
But I don't know that for a fact.
Well, you have a lot of years until you get there.
Not that many. Thank you very
it's
much,
a lot.
though.
Also, one question that we ask everybody because we are dying to know, do you have a favorite author, genre, or a book that you're reading right now?
Right now, I'm reading the new Abraham Verghese, Covenant of Water. I think that's the name of it. I have it on audio, so you don't always look at the name of the book like you do when you read a book. You don't always see it every day. But he had written Cutting for Stone, and it's very good. It's very long, but it's very good.
Is it like nonfiction?
No, it's a fiction book.
Okay.
Based in India, and he reads it himself, which sometimes I don't like the authors reading their own work. But
I love when authors read their own work.
Oh, sometimes they don't know how to speak. They can write like great, but they don't know how to speak the words. But no, he's really good, so it makes it enjoyable.
What genre is that?
It's just
Fiction.
yeah, it's fiction. I don't know if it's not a mystery. It's not. It's a family saga kind of thing. Yes, we'll call it that.
Okay. Sounds like a great genre.
Amy has spoken, and that is what it'll be.
Declared.
Yes. All right, Amy. Well, I don't know.
Any words of wisdom to share with us?
Oh, good heavens, no. No. I have no words of wisdom. Thank you, though.
Oh, thank you, Amy. As always, it's a delight.
Thanks very much.
We're talking with Sam now.
Hi.
Sam, how long have you been here at the Orville Library?
I have been at the Orville Library for a little over 6 years now.
So you started as a page,
I did.
and now you also work in circulations.
I do. So I get to touch everything twice. Like, oh, look, I got to check it back in. Oh, look, I'm sending it away. Or, oh, look, I'm putting it back on the shelf now.
Are you ever surprised when you see a book that you haven't seen before?
More so now, because when I first started, when I was just paging, I felt like I knew the whole library. And now I'm just like, when did we get this one? Where did this one come from? I have not paged in so long.
So, Sam, what brought you to the library? Like, what was the appeal of working at a library for you?
It feels like home. It's just my happy place. Always has been since I was a kid.
So you've always been a big reader.
Oh, yes.
Did you grow up visiting libraries then? 'Cause you said as a kid, so.
Mostly I got like the Scholastic books and stuff because we didn't live close to the library. We lived way out of town, and our library was not as cool as this library because we had what we had. When I moved to Orville and they said, oh, we can order in from all over and get you whatever you want, I was like, that's a thing? Like, oh my gosh. Like, I was very limited where I was in Virginia.
All right, Sam. So what are you reading right now or enjoying?
Right now, I'm reading Terry Pratchett because I didn't realize he had written science fiction as well as fantasy. All I had ever read was Discworld, and it's amazing. There's science fiction too.
There's more.
I'm like, I have to get this, so I ordered it in. And
What's it called?
Strata.
Well, thanks for joining us, Sam. We appreciate everything you do in the page department and the circ department, and hope that you'll be with us a lot longer than just 6 years.
Oh yes, intend to be. I don't
wonderful.
want to go anywhere.
Great.
So I am excited here. I am talking to Kate the Great.
Darn delightful.
Kate, you started as a page, but you kind of do some different things. You help in tech now.
Yes,
What things do you do in tech services?
mostly what Jana does not want to do. I put all the stickers on all the AV materials, like our ID number, our 7-day loan sticker, and our Orville Library sticker, and then put the little 4-digit ID number on it.
How long have you worked here?
5 years in October.
Okay. I guess sometimes we just work with somebody for so long that you forget how long it's been. And you're just like, that's my friend.
Yep.
Yeah.
Been good 5 years.
Yeah. Are you like working here in your retirement like Joan?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've retired twice, actually.
Okay.
I wanted something to do, and I thought, oh, I came into the library and saw they needed a page, and I thought, oh, no responsibilities, just, it was going to be my exercise program, you know, because it
Shelving all
kept
the
me
materials.
moving. But I love books, so it was a perfect fit.
Do you have a favorite genre of book?
Well, I've read Shakespeare twice, complete works of Shakespeare. I've done all the classics, basically, like Dickens and Austen, and I love all that kind of reading. But I thought I'm going to start with Pulitzer Prize. I did all the fiction from 1918 through, I think, 2020. And then I did the same thing I'm 400 pages from finishing biographies from 1917 through 2020.
Those are some lofty book aspirations. In
Well,
my
you
opinion.
could get carpal tunnel just holding some of the volumes. They're heavy.
That's brilliant. Well, thanks for talking with me.
You're welcome.
All right.
Bye.
So we are talking to Ashley. She is a fairly recent hire. She's one of our page extraordinaires. I happen to like her a whole lot because she's my daughter. So Ashley, what brought you to get a job at the Orville Public Library?
Well, as you just said, I'm your daughter, so you kind of recruited me to the team. And I work as a page, like you said, where I get to reshelve all of the materials, books, CDs, DVDs, all the things that we give out here at the library. I get to reshelve them when they come back in and make sure that they can be found for the next patron.
And it is a hard, sometimes thankless job, but we really do appreciate you.
I really enjoy it. I enjoy alphabetizing things. My bookshelves and DVD cases at home are alphabetized.
It's true.
So it was a pretty natural job for me to take. But I do have one shelf on my bookshelf that is organized by color. They're all like older, hard-bound books, and I have them organized in a rainbow pattern just
They're
for fun.
pretty. So what are you reading currently, or what have you finished currently?
I am currently in the middle of a book called The Printed Letter Bookshop, and that is by Catherine Ray, R-E-A-Y, Catherine Ray. And I've been enjoying that. It's about a woman who is a lawyer and through some circumstances chooses to quit her job, and she inherits a bookshop from her great aunt.
Okay, so one final question. What has been the funnest part of working at the library?
It has been fun being part of the summer reading program that we've been doing. We've been given different prompts weekly as a staff. I know that we do things for the community, but the staff has been doing a summer reading program as well. And so that's been fun. I've been enjoying that. We get to wear special t-shirts every week to go along with whatever the theme week is. So that's been quite enjoyable.
But the best part is that you get to see your mom.
I get to see my mom.
Okay, I just had to get that on there.
That's the best part.
Okay, well, thanks, Ashley. Appreciate you taking the time from your busy paging duties to speak with us.
Thank you for having me. This was wonderful.
So I am now here with Tammy, and Tammy is the manager of the children's department. So what does that entail? What does that mean you do?
Oh, that means I do a lot of behind-the-scenes work like scheduling and keeping track of statistics and scheduling of events and things like that. But I also am in charge of the collection, so I make a lot of decisions regarding what books we have and where they're going to go in the collection. And I hire and train staff so that we can all serve the public in the best way possible.
Awesome. And you have been here at the Orville Library for, is it like 5 years?
4 years.
Okay.
4.5 at this point, yeah. So I started the day after Christmas of 2018. So really 2019 was my first full year here.
So we kind of joke around that like you haven't had a normal year.
No, I spent the whole of 2019 just sort of, watching what the great staff here did and learning from them. And then 2020 happened, and nothing that I learned in that first year really applied because we had to do everything differently because of the pandemic. But we've been working at, building back to what we do, and, adding more story times and more programming, and getting back to somewhat normal since then.
Do you have any favorite programs or things that you've done here?
That's tough to say. I mean, I enjoy doing story times, and I enjoy watching my staff do story times because that's kind of our bread and butter. That's, I think, one of the most important things we do is introducing young children to books and literacy so that they're learning at a really young age to love books and reading, because that will help them in school with building their reading skills. So that's probably my favorite.
One of the things that we see being in other departments is that you guys have a lot of fun in children.
We do have a lot of
fun. Cool things.
We do. That is true. I mean, it's fun to interact with kids. It's fun to be able to do crafts and, playful things, and sing and laugh and just have fun with the families that come in. So that is a fun part.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity.
So now I'm upstairs in the children's department, and I'm talking to Terry. Terry, you haven't been at the library terribly long.
I started in February of 22, so it's been about a year and a
half. Oh,
half.
wow. Okay, longer than I thought. It feels like we work with people so much that, like, you start to forget how long they've been here.
That's true.
They've just always been here, right?
Daphne still introduces me as a new employee. Well, it's been a little bit longer than that.
And we definitely have newer people.
Definitely.
Especially now, since we're hiring a few more. So what brought you to working here at Orville?
Well, I've always enjoyed working with the public, and my other job was very slow at the time, so I thought, well, let's work at the library too, and then I can see what goes on behind the scenes at the library and help people find the books that I've always enjoyed, because everyone at the library has always been really helpful at helping me find what I need for teaching classes.
The phone is ringing. We're going to pause this interview so you can answer the phone. So Terry did her job and answered the phone and helped people, so now we can get back to chatting. So what kind of books do you check out, or what do you enjoy reading?
I like a lot of longevity family stories where you hear what happens in a family through different generations or different decades of their growth. I've been really enjoying Jojo Moyes lately. She is a British author, and she has what I consider really good character development of her characters in the story as the story proceeds, and you see different sides of that person and then how they interact with the other characters in the story.
Okay. So you've gotten to do a bunch of different children's programs. Have you had a favorite program or anything that you really enjoy doing?
Well, I have a background as a preschool teacher, so I really enjoy doing story time with the preschool children and the families that come to that. But I've also done the Lego programs, and that's been really fun. And this summer, with our community theme, Corey and I have been doing these community bug walks. And the last one is August 11th on the Friday. And so we're going to be talking about termites. Before we talked about bees and ants, because these are insects that work in a community, and they all help each other. They all work together. They all have certain jobs. At the library, we all have our jobs, and we all help the community too.
Thank you so much.
So today I'm going to be talking to Dawn. Dawn is fairly new to the library, just hasn't been a whole year yet.
Why, no, I started in January of this year, so it's been a little over 7 months.
Okay, and you're up in the children's department.
I am.
So what made you want to be in the library world?
I was excited to join here after being a patron for over a decade, coming with my own family. I have a background in education, both secondary and early education, so I love to work with children, and being here in the community to which I live, working with children that I get to see in and out of the library environment fills my bucket immensely. I'm happy to be here.
Great. And Dawn has the best smile, and she's always so cheerful. I love it when you're in the building. It's just like a ray of sunshine, and we appreciate that. When you said you were in education, were you working as a teacher before coming here?
I was. Before I had my family, I worked for 10 years in the high school setting at West Holmes Local, teaching social studies. I have also spent some time in Montessori and most recently in a nature-based preschool environment.
Wow. Wow, that's fun. Well, I'm really glad that you're here. We always ask everyone what they're reading, or if they have a favorite genre or a favorite author.
Interestingly, though I like to work with little people, I love horror. I'm a huge Anne Rice fan and Stephen King fan. I love Julia Donaldson when it comes to children's books. I love her rhyme and the way that she problem solves with kids. Most recently, I've been reading a adolescent series called Willa of the Wood and its sequel, Willa of Dark Hollow. And I enjoyed the fact that it was historical fiction coupled with fantasy and also that nice mix of environmental issues.
You said you like horror and you like children's. Do you read R.L. Stine?
I did when I was a little bit younger reader. I have not come back to reading it, but yes. And any of that genre, both in film, in television, and in print, is my absolute favorite.
Do you go all out for Halloween?
Oh, I do. It is one of my absolute favorite holidays. And if I can find any reason to be an alter ego at any time of the year, I find that totally enjoyable.
All right. Well, thank you, Dawn. We appreciate it. We appreciate you.
Hi, Corey.
Hi, Dawn.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Good. So we have maybe less affectionately called you the Bug Lady on
Yes.
the podcast in the past. How do you feel about that?
I'm used to it. I've had lots of people call me that before.
Good.
I get lots of people's bug questions.
So you have been at the library for a good while. How long have you been here?
I have. It's been almost 17 years. I got hired with Lisa as well.
And have you been in multiple departments, or has that change kind of been recent?
One change was recent. I started off in circulation and was there for maybe 3 months. It wasn't very long, and then moved to adult reference and was there for many years. And now this last year, I am working part-time in adult and part-time in children's. So that's a new experience.
So getting to see like all the different places in the building.
That is correct.
Are you enjoying being in children's?
Yes.
It's a different world.
It is a different world. It's very different.
Have you been reading anything interesting, or what genres do you enjoy reading?
I have read lots of different genres in the past. I do not find a lot of time to read these days with my children and my work and all the different things that I do. Unfortunately, I'd love to read more because growing up, I'd just want to sit down and read a book when I had free time. But
Is that where your daughters get it from?
yes, that's why they go home with stacks of books, because they get it from me. Actually, Justin, my husband, also is quite the reader. So I tend to like, I would say fantasy, sci-fi novels the most, but I read all kinds of different books.
Have you had any particularly fun or interesting experiences in the children's department since you started doing that?
Well, I guess one thing that I enjoy watching kids do is interact with our fish. We have a goldfish in the children's department, and Clementine is quite the showstopper. So she's very friendly and always goes to the front where the kids are and blows kisses or bubbles or whatever you want to call it. And the kids just love the fish. So that's fun to see.
Well, thank you so much for talking with me today.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us, Wendy. Wendy is the head of the reference department here at the library. So, Wendy, how long have you been at the Orville Public Library?
That's a loaded question.
Okay.
This time around?
How long have I been here? Well, I started actually in 2001, and I was here for about 11 or 12 years, and then I left for a while, and then I came back in 2019. I think it was 2019.
So, Wendy, you're the one that is responsible for new books coming into the adult department.
Yes.
How many books do you have to, go through to decide how many to add to the collection every year, approximately?
Oh, I have no idea. I go through so many different magazines and websites and look at so many different reviews. It all becomes a blur. I have a budget for the collection, and I divvy it up each month and try to stay within my budget and do the best I can. Yeah.
My favorite thing about Wendy being in charge of the collection is when new books come in and she goes, "Oh, I ordered that."
I don't remember that. Yeah. There's so many.
Yeah. We do ask everybody what they might be currently reading. Do you have a favorite genre?
I do have a favorite genre.
Okay.
It's mysteries, and it's usually like English mysteries, especially if they're older English mysteries. I do like some cozy English mysteries, but usually they're like Sherlock Holmes, Miss Marple, especially if they involve poisons. No.
Okay. Don't take the brownies from Wendy.
There's Flavia Deluce mysteries. Those are fun too. And she was a little 11-year-old girl that was just really knowledgeable about poisons. So those were fun. Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us today, Wendy. Hope we didn't take too much of your time away from all your magazines looking for our new books to come to our collection.
Well, I hope I'm doing a good job for everybody.
Thank you.
I'm trying.
All right, so now I'm talking with Marcia. And Marcia, you've been here for 21 years.
Yes, in October, it will be 21 years.
All right. So what brought you to working at the library?
We had just moved to Orville, and I was getting library cards for my kids and myself, and saw they were hiring and knew that I would be looking for a job, so I immediately asked for an application.
So you were like, I'm new here. Let me work in this town.
Sounded like a fun place to work, and awesome. It has been.
Fantastic. Did you start out in circulation then?
I did.
So you helped check out materials and all of that. And how long was it before you found yourself in the reference department?
You know, that is a good question. I can't remember how long it was. It was maybe a year or two. But it was a good start because I learned how the library operated, lots of things I didn't know behind the scenes. And then when an opening came in reference, I took advantage of that.
Very good. One of the unique things that you do is you work with the homebound patrons, and you also get to visit Orvilla. Is it monthly?
Every other month.
Every other month, okay.
Yes, that's one of the things that I was given, and I really enjoy it. The Orvilla residents are many, many stories that they can tell, and I love coming up with topics that will get those stories going.
And then the homebound program, can you tell us a little about that?
That is where we take the library to people who can't get to the library, and we set things up, pull the books for them. They let us know what they like, and then when we set it up either on a regular basis every month or as needed. And we send books, we send magazines, whatever their interest is.
Awesome, very good. So what kind of things do you like to read?
I like lots of things. I think I often tend to look for things written in early 20th century because I love some of that time period. But I do like some fantasy. I like a good mystery. I'm not into cozies because they're too easy to solve. I'm learning a lot more children's picture books because I have grandchildren. And so Grumpy Monkey is a very big favorite and Little Blue Truck, depending on the grandchild. But
Very good. Thank you.
Oh, so we get to talk with Nicholas for a little bit today. How's it going, Nicholas?
It is going well. How are you doing?
I am good. We're talking right now, end of June. How has the library on the van gone this summer?
It has gone very well. So far, we've given away just under 400 books, which at this time, we've only been doing it about a month and a half. I consider that a great success.
So you weren't expecting probably to give out that many?
We had no idea what to expect, but we get a lot of engagement and people are really excited about it. And I meet a lot of people who just show up and had never heard of it before, and just kind of amazing.
Because of Library on the Van, has that inspired anybody to come into the library and maybe get a card and start looking around the library as well? Do you know?
I don't know specifically. I hope so. I've definitely talked to people who have brought up loving the library and really enjoying the van because they hadn't been in a while.
So how long have you been working here, Nicholas?
I know the exact date, on September 28th, 2022.
Okay, so when this broadcasts, it'll be your anniversary month.
It will.
So we were excited about the podcast having a year, so we get to celebrate you as well in September, so that's fun.
It's an honor to be as old as the podcast.
Yeah. As old as the podcast?
Wait,
well,
yeah.
You've been employed as long as the podcast is alive.
Yes.
Or something like that.
Sure.
So one last question, Nicholas. What are you reading right now? Are you reading anything intriguing?
So I don't know about intriguing. I'm currently reading a book on habits, but I just put a hold on the first book in the Wheel of Time series. So
is that a fantasy? It sounds like a fantasy.
It is, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's like 14 books and each one is over 700 pages. So
and oh my goodness, that is ambitious. You think you'll get through all of those this summer?
Yeah, no, definitely not.
In your lifetime, maybe?
Yeah, I don't know, maybe. We'll see.
Are you a big series reader?
I am, but it's more, I like the genre and it kind of just goes with the genre. So
okay. All right. Well, thanks, Nicholas. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jenny.
Have a great day.
Yeah, you too.
Favorite color, Pat?
Red.
Why is it red? Because it's the Orville Library color?
No, it's Orville Red Riders. I was a Red Rider before I worked here, just so you know.
Pat, how long have you worked at the library?
17 years.
Wow. So you are our fiscal officer,
Yes.
which is a fancy word for like super accountant.
The reason it's fiscal officer is I handle the budgets and the forecasting and the investments. I also am an accountant. Certifiable. Take that out.
This is a true.
I'm degreed, yeah. And I'm certified through the state auditor.
We are, I have to say, really lucky to have you. You keep us, I think, on the straight and narrow with our budget.
What's the hardest part about your job?
I stress over the state budget because that's the revenue that the library receives from the state is a percentage of what they get. It's called public library funding. It's not set in stone. We get a percentage of whatever they get. That's my job, is to watch the funding, watch the expenses.
So other than numbers, Pat, do you enjoy reading?
I love to read. That's one of the reasons I wanted to work at the library, is because you are helping people be literate, especially the younger people. I love seeing little kids with their books.
Are you reading anything interesting right now?
I read biographies mostly, nonfiction, always. I don't get lost in stories like a lot of people do, and that's probably the way my mind works. I'm very lineal. Yeah, I like truth.
You just grabbed a new biography off the shelf?
It is Terry Pratchett, A Life with Footnotes, and it's written by Rob Wilkins, and it looked very interesting.
Terry Pratchett's a fun author. He writes.
He does. He writes.
Yeah.
But it's funny. I like him as an author.
Well, how do you know that if you only read nonfiction?
Because I have friends.
Then how do you know you like him
I
as
have
an
two.
author if you've never read him?
No, he's not the author. He's dead.
Well, harsh.
He's dead. He didn't write it. My favorite thing about talking to Pat is that she goes from this very goofy, like, chattering attitude, but when she talks about her job, she's very serious.
Yes. It is very serious.
Thank you for letting us chat with you, Pat.
Well, today we have the privilege of talking to Pearl, who has been at our library for 25 plus years.
Okay, go ahead.
I need to sign? Yeah.
Interrupted by regularly scheduled, well, maybe not regularly, but
some maintenance.
This is what Pearl does.
Yep.
She keeps
us flowing.
But genuinely, like, I've said that whenever Pearl retires, that we will have to have her train her replacement for an entire year.
Oh, for sure. Pearl, she is our everything at the library. She is the assistant to the director, but she assists all of us in invaluable ways, and she's been here 25 years. So thanks for joining us, Pearl.
Hello.
So, Pearl, in the 25 years you've been here at Orville, what would you say has been some of the major changes that have happened in the library world?
Probably the biggest is technology. Just how hinged we are to computers and how quickly we can find things. And, you know, normally, if the Google and all of them are doing their job, you know, the kids still come. That hasn't changed at all. Everybody thinks that the library is a dying thing, and really it's not. You know, we're still busy. We still, the doors are open, and people are coming in.
Mm-hmm. So what brought you to Orville Library 25 plus years ago?
Looking for something different to do. I had worked in office. I had done babysitting, and it was time to find a job that would work around my kids' schedule at the time, and this was perfect.
So you mentioned office work and babysitting. So basically, you're still doing the same thing here with the staff. She babysits us. There's no doubt about it. So Pearl, finally, we always ask, are you reading anything, or do you have a favorite genre of book that you always enjoy reading, kind of your go-to?
I read a little bit of everything. A little bit of mystery, a little bit of romance. You know, Linda Castillo. Oh, my gosh. You know, I love her books. So a little bit of everything.
All right. Well, thank you, Pearl. We appreciate it. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Jana.
Hi, Dawn.
How are you?
I'm good.
Awesome. You've worked here since like
1982,
for a while.
so 41 years.
41 years this
41
year.
years.
We celebrated your 40th last year, and that was very exciting.
I would like
At
to say
least.
one thing. She worked here in utero because there is no possible way that this woman looks like she's been at the library 41 years.
I think the awesome thing about you working here is that you started as a page, right?
I started as a page, and I have worked in every single department. I've been in tech services since 1991.
Okay.
And actually took over in 2002. That's when I became the manager of tech services.
Am I thinking right? You were like the first person to actually like scan a book when we moved to like a computer catalog?
You are correct. I have the oldest Orville Public Library card for Cersei, which was DRA at that time in 1986.
Wow.
There you
Yeah. Which is super awesome. I think it's fantastic. So you get to handle like every bit of material that comes into the library.
Yes, every single new item has to come across my desk before it comes upstairs for the patrons.
So you see everything.
I see everything.
Do you ever think this is the craziest thing I've ever seen?
Yes, I have thought that sometimes.
Yeah,
I do. There are some just very different things, and I wonder, who's going to check this out? Will this go out? Yes, I do.
So what's been your favorite thing over the years that you've worked here? Any like favorite interactions or favorite events or?
Hard question. I've seen it all, and I'm on director number 6. I've been here long enough that Daphne is director number 6 for me. So.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
So we were chatting a little bit the other day, and you said that your favorite books to look at or check out are cookbooks.
Cookbooks. I love to look at cookbooks.
Do you like to try new recipes, or you just like to look at them?
I do try some, but mostly I just look at them just for ideas. I like to cook at home, like to bake, especially like to bake. I like to look at the pictures. If it doesn't have pictures, I'm not interested. I like to see what it's supposed to look like.
Sure,
Yeah.
okay.
But yeah, I do enjoy looking at the pictures.
So what brought you to the library back in when you were just a toddler?
I just
You got your first job here
yeah,
as a 3-year-old?
I know. It was just kind of on a whim. A friend of mine worked here as a page and said, "Oh, they're looking for people," and I was looking for a job and in high school, and I've been here ever since.
It's stuck.
It's stuck.
That's
stuck.
fantastic. I love it.
Well, thank you, Jana. We do appreciate you taking the time from all of your cataloging to spend some time with us.
Well, thank you, and congratulations on your 1 year for your podcast.
Okay, so for some upcoming events in September, the children's department has monarch butterfly observation. So they have a little glass tank enclosure that has some chrysalises.
Chrysali? I don't know.
I think chrysalises. So you can see the monarch butterfly development as it goes through its stages. If you are lucky and get here at the right time, you might actually get to see one of the butterflies come out of the chrysalis, which I have seen before. It's really cool.
And you don't have to be a children. You can be an adult and go check it out too.
Totally can be an adult and not a children.
I said that on purpose. Also, our fall story times are going to start back up again in September. And those are from ages 9 months to 5 years. Go ahead and give us a call so you can get registered and get your child registered to enjoy a story time this fall.
You can also go onto the calendar on our website and sign up for
great.
story times that way as well. Coffee and Crafts will be starting again on September 7th on Thursday instead of Tuesday, which is what they used to do. For the first one, we're making an acorn garland for like a little fall decorative thing.
And Dawn's going to be the person in charge of the Coffee and Crafts. She loves coffee. And she's very crafty, so I'm sure it'll be fun time. Also, the book club starts back up in September. This month, they are going to be doing Forest of Vanishing Stars by Kristen Harmel. They are going to be meeting on the second Thursday of every month. The 2 times that are available are 10 a.m. and 6:30 p.m. You do not have to register for book club. You can just show up, but you're welcome to call and let us know you're coming also. But that will start September 14th. That's a Thursday at 10 a.m. and at 6:30.
Teen Book Box sign up It's coming around again. Starts on September 11th, and that always runs for 2 weeks. So any teens or students who are grades 6 through 12 can sign up for that and just tell me what you like to read, and I'll pick out some books for you and throw some candy in a box with your books.
Yum.
We also have the tailgate with Turning Point Coalition on Friday, September 22nd. And that's from 4 to 6. So students and families can come out to the library, have a hot dog, and do some games and activities before the Orville High School football game versus Fairless.
And then we have our fall book sale that is going to be September 21st through the 23rd, which I believe is Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And that will happen down in our basement. Friends of Orville Public Library will run the book sale.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's called Friends Book Sale, because we're clever like that. And then usually the following week, as we are thinning out, the books will still be available. But by the beginning of October, the book sale will be over. So I suggest coming early to get the good stuff, September 21st through the 23rd.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And of course, we want to remind you again about our anniversary giveaway. Come into the library, get a trivia sheet, listen to the podcast unless you know all of the answers already.
Yeah.
And then once you turn in that sheet, get a Beyond the Shelf pin and be entered to win a super cool Beyond the Shelf mug.
Exclusive.
Yeah. We're actually only making 6 of them.
Yes.
There'll be 6 in the whole world.
Yes. Also, Dawn and I want to say thank you again for everyone that's listened to us so faithfully. We do appreciate it. And feel free to share about our podcast with your friends and family. And also, if you guys have any suggestions of stuff that you'd like to hear us talk about, books, movies, trivia, just general knowledge. We don't have a lot of knowledge, but we generally have some.
We have access to the
we
knowledge.
have access to it. So, if you have something specific you'd like to really hear us talk about, please email us or talk to us in person, and we'd love to add that to our repertoire for our second year. Thanks again. This is Jenny.
And this is Dawn.
See you at the library.